PayPal is by far one of the most used payment processors there are out there. And, well, they do have a stock, and I would like to see if their stock price is a buy right now. Hi there, everybody. Welcome to another stock analysis video. We're going to be analyzing today PayPal. And with me, I have a common visitor now. Introduce yourself. Yay! You, my girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
So, do you like PayPal?
I do.
Why?
Because it's easy to use.
Is it easy to use?
Yes.
Yeah, like I've heard that like a lot of people like prefer using PayPal over like pretty much anything else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been around longer too.
I mean, I think the competitor is what, Square, right? Square is like the only other one, I think.
There might be a few others.
Might be a few others, but well, we're gonna be analyzing today PayPal, and you're gonna help me with this, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Starting off, we got PayPal. Current share price at $186.20. And do they pay a dividend?
No.
They do not. So you know what that means, right?
No money.
I like how you say that. It means that all of their cash flow is going into their company, right? So they're taking all of their cash flow, and instead of putting it out as a dividend, they're taking it and reinvesting it back in themselves. Make sense?
Yeah.
And to pay down debt and do all that other stuff, right? Make sense?
Yes.
So even though they don't pay a dividend, for a dividend investor, that kind of sucks. But if you're looking for growth, well, this is pretty much a very good indicator. Now coming over here to the calculator. Guys, I have actually changed this calculator up a lot. I have not updated it in the one that is available for everybody. I will be doing that hopefully tomorrow when I am recording this video. But you'll get the new updated one rather soon, and I like it mainly because of the fact that now you can put 3 different growth assumptions and 3 different required rate of returns, which I'm actually going to let my girlfriend do that today, and we'll see what price you should be buying it at based on that growth assumption and those required rate of returns. But of course, we got the ticker symbol PYPL, market cap of, look at this, sweetheart, $218 billion. That is huge. That's a huge market cap. PE of 44.84. What do you think of this PE?
I don't know.
So PE is price to earnings. That means that you take the price and you take the earnings, you divide the price divided by the earnings. And I personally like to buy anything under 20. Look at this PE, 44.84.
So that's high.
That's very high. So this is just one metric. Does this mean that it's a no buy? Not necessarily. You have to look at the other metrics as well, right?
Right.
So that's what we're going to be doing. Share price, as I said, $186.20. They don't pay a dividend, right? So that means that the amounts paid in dividends per year is 0, right? Because they don't pay a dividend. And, well, since they don't pay a dividend, their payout ratio is essentially 0 in regards to their free cash flow. And as you can see right here, their free cash flow is essentially $3.5 billion, right? And of course, we're going to be looking at the graphs of their previous 5-year free cash flow, because right here, this $3.5 billion is their average 5-year free cash flow. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's actually take a look at this graph. First of all, we got the net income. Look at this, $1.4 billion to $4.2 billion.
Why is
Well,
that one so drastically different?
well, let's take a look. What happened a year ago? Let's just say 2020.
COVID.
The virus, right? So a lot of people are doing a lot of payment processing, right? People were just ordering stuff online. So that's probably why this increase 1 year ago, right, is such an outlier. But it's an increase of 118%. Can they sustain this? Probably not, right? Probably not. So we're going to have to take this into account when we actually make our assumptions. Next, we got the free cash flow. 5 years ago, $2.5 billion to 1 year ago of $5 billion. That is an increase of 50% with an average 5-year free cash flow, as we saw, of $3.5 billion. And this is just completely all over the place. Look at this.
Say it seems up, down,
Up, yeah, it's very kangaroo-y. That's what I like to call it. So it's kind of difficult to foreshadow what could be like in the next few years. Next, we got the revenue. 5 years ago, $10.8 billion to 1 year ago of $21.5 billion. That's an increase of nearly 50%. Look at this. And not only that, you would think, well, it's because of the COVID thing. Here's the thing though. this line is very, very steady, isn't it?
It is.
It's very, very steady. It is not like the free cash flow or the net income. It is significantly steady going up. So
going up about almost the same amount each year.
yeah, so you could pretty much make the assumption that they might be able to do this within the next coming years. Next, we got the total debt. And again, super, super important. This tells you whether or not the company is going to be in there for the long run, right? We want a company with the least amount of debt because if a recession hits or a depression hits, God forbid, well, a company with less debt would survive more, right? And well, their debt is 100%. And the reason for this is because, well, 5 years ago, they had zero debt. And as of today, they have almost $10 billion and $9.7 billion worth of debt. It makes sense that the debt is increasing to 100%. Obviously, that percent is a little skewed. You mainly want to take a look at the actual numbers. In this case, it's around $10 billion, which is a lot of debt, right? That's a lot of debt. Next, we got the shares outstanding. And do you remember what this was?
No.
Okay, so this is the amount of shares that are available for investors to buy. Think of it as a slice of pizza, right? You want this to be decreasing, not increasing. And the reason is because think of it as like the slice of pizza that I did with you in the other analogy. You have a big pizza and you have 10 people. You slice it up into 10 different slices, right? Your size is equal to that of everybody else's. Now you take 20 people, but you have the same amount of pizza. Is your slice bigger or smaller?
Smaller.
Right. So the more shares that they issue, the less of that pizza you have. Make sense? So you want them to be buying back shares. And right here, they're buying back shares. 5 years ago, of 1.21 billion shares to 1.17 billion shares. That is a decrease of almost 3% at 2.81%, which is really, really good to see. And lastly, we got cash and equivalents, and this is essentially how much cash they have liquid right now. And as of today, they have $7.8 billion in cash with an average cash and equivalents of almost $5.33 billion, which is actually fairly good. Now let's actually come over here and use this new calculator, okay? We are now going to make assumptions as to everything that we just saw. We're now going to make assumptions as to where we think this company is going to go, okay? So the first things first is, I want to know how much do you think this company is going to grow, okay? Within the next 4 to 5 years, all right? So what do you think this company is going to grow within the next 5 years? The smallest amount, the smallest growth percentage that this company might grow. What do you think, sweetheart?
I don't know.
Let's just say 10%, right? Let's just say 10% growth, and let's say that we would like a required rate of return of, let's say, the market usually does between 7 to 10%. So let's just use the minimum amount of 7%, okay? Now let's take a medium assumption, okay? So for the smallest assumption, we use 10%. What would you think a median assumption would be for how much this company is going to grow in the future? 15?
Sure.
15, awesome. Now, for a required rate of return, what do you think would be a medium required rate of return? Remember, the market usually does anything between 7 to 10%. 8.5?
Sure.
8? 8.5?
8.5.
8.5. So let's do 8.5. And now let's assume a high growth assumption and a high required rate of return. So what do you think for the high growth assumption? We did 10 for the minimum, 15 for the median, and what do you think for the highest? 20, 25?
Sure.
Which one?
I don't know.
Let's do 20, okay? Let's do 20. Okay, and now for the required rate of return? 10?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And with all of those metrics, we get a target share price for the small, median, and high assumptions of $121.74, $107.26, and $99.71. Adjusting for debt, however, which, let's face it, guys, they do have a lot. They do have a lot of debt right now. They actually go up to $128.36, $113.89, and $106.34. Now, obviously, we would like a margin of safety because we don't just want to buy this at the price that it's at, because it's, you want a margin of safety, right? So, taking a margin of safety of 5, 10, and 15%, for the smallest assumption, we would like to buy this at $122, $115, and $109. For the median assumption, we would like to buy this at $108, $102, and then $96 for the 5, 10, and 15%. And for the high assumption, we would ideally like to buy this at $101.02, $95.75, and $90.39. Current share price is $186. So yeah, this is telling me that this is very, very expensive right now, and you would essentially just wait for a crash to happen and buy anywhere within these somewhat ranges. And again, guys, these assumptions are my assumptions. Yours could be different. You guys may disagree with me. I highly suggest, if you guys disagree with me, then I'm going to make this calculator available, the new version, and I would suggest you go into the video titled Discounted Free Cash Flow Calculator. You can make a copy of it, and that way you can have it and you can make your own assumptions, because again, every investment is the present value of all future cash flow, right? You want to look into the future, see what you think they might do in regards to their cash flow, in regards to how much money they're bringing in, and you want to bring this to the present, and you want to know how much you should be paying for that future cash flow. Make sense, sweetheart?
Yes.
Because you don't want to overpay for something. Now, obviously, if the company has great growth like PayPal does, then it's okay to overpay for it, but you don't want to overpay for it. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So that's essentially that. Like if you like, comment, subscribe. It really does help her with the algorithm on YouTube. You can follow me on my new tech sites of BitChute, Odyssey, and Rumble, where in addition to my stock analysis videos and crypto videos, you will get exclusives as well. Alright, so with that said, peace out and be on the lookout for the next stock analysis video. And if anybody has any suggestions, leave it in the comment section and I will take a look at it.